I got pulled over by a police officer, so that's fun. I was on the phone with my doctor and the phone was in my hand, and you're not allowed in Oregon to have the phone in your hand even on speakers, so he just asked for my driver's license and registration, and I really hope I'm not getting a ticket. That's not fun. Well guys, it's another day and I woke up to find out that they have posted a winter storm warning for Oregon and Washington. The winter storm warning says that persons should consider delaying all travel. If travel is absolutely necessary, drive with extreme caution. Consider taking a winter storm kit along with you. There will be heavy snow possible, total snow accumulations between 20 and 30 inches possible. With the winter storm warning for this whole area, I just really need to watch road conditions. So I want to make sure that we have a safe place to weather out this storm for a few days, because it looks like it's going to be lasting through Thursday at this point. So even with that bad storm coming and all the errands I have to run, one task I have to get done today is I'm changing out my DC to DC charger. I'm upgrading from a 30 amp to a 50 amp, which I'm very excited because I like to stay in one spot for 3 to 4 days, and especially with all the cold weather that's been happening, the cloudy sky, so my solar panels are not recharging my battery. Something I really need to maximize is while I'm driving is getting my battery charged up. So I'm going to be changing out to the Orion system by Victron. I already have a Victron system down underneath, but this is going to be a big game changer, I think, for me. So I'm excited to get this done. I think it's an easy install, but I've asked Jason to help me out because he has a shop here in Oregon and he has all the tools. And you can probably hear Apollo meowing over at Ben right now. He's like, get out of the van. But we're going to try to swap this out really quickly before we run our errands so we can find a spot to land before the storm hits. My current system for my batteries is down here under my garage, which I can go through the back. But because this is right now in this side, I figured this might be the easiest access. But right here on the far left is my original one that I have. It is the 12-12-30 amp, and it's going to be the same exact system that we're swapping out. We're just going to be doing it with the 50 amp. So I'm hoping that it's a quick and easy exchange. But as we all know, there's nothing quite like a quick and easy upgrade or renovation. And so time is of the essence because it's going to start dumping outside. So we need to get this done ASAP. This was actually my Christmas gift to myself this year because I have been wanting one of these and I really didn't want to spend like the $300, but I do think it's going to be a much easier solution and really what I've needed to do. So here is the new system. As you can see, it's just really this box with these cable holes here. Everything is blank on this side. You're going to be able to put in your cables here and then connect everything there as well. Also behind me, Ben and Apollo are, messing around. So that's the extra noise that you hear because Ben's inside because it's going to start raining. And Jason is currently filming with his bus. And so I'm trying to get this done and prepped so we can finish it together. But the animals are not making this easy for me.
I'm just trying to figure out how they grounded this thing. So they got one ground wire that goes to the output, and that goes into your links distributor, and then the other ground is probably a chassis ground.
So there's only one ground wire for this new one?
There's only one. Yeah, you only need one ground for the new one, but they have two grounds going to the old one, which it just looks like to me is like one ground goes to the chassis, and then the other ground is going to your links distributor. these are our 2 grounds. Now in the new unit, we only have a single ground, which I understand, because realistically, these are probably all grounded to the same location, or will feed back at some point to the same location. So I just need to double check a couple things.
Okay, so the new one has the 3 holes for the ground and then the 2 on either side, but not 4 like the old one. I think I owe him dinner after his help with this. I really appreciate it a lot. It's nice when you have friends that have the tools, the shop, and I know my dad would definitely help me out if I was down in Nevada, but because I'm not, I'm very thankful for Jason's help right now. Now the Lynx distributor is going to look a little different because Neil and I added on an extra, on the right hand side, an extra bus bar, and then me and my dad ran the new AC to it.
I'm trying to get it off the wall.
Did you turn off the power?
What's that?
Have you turned off the power yet?
No, not because there's no, this is just coming from the start battery.
Okay.
But you do not want to let those touch those. What I want to do, we got to take this little cap off. Okay. This is the little cap, and I don't want to lose the little screws.
I can hold them.
Okay, so that's that. And then what I want to do is we're going to loosen these. All the way up.
I wonder why we thought, oh, let's just throw this up real quick before we go to the grocery store and run all the other errands before this big winter storm. It's going to be easy.
I mean, all in all, it's not going to be that bad. Okay. I am really surprised at how small this gauge of wire is they have coming into this. 9 to 17, output 10 to 17, 700 watts, 50 amps. Man, it just really seems quite small. Okay, so now I'm going to put this.
Out of curiosity, you're using the ground from the Lynx distributor. Is there a reason why you're choosing that one?
Yes, because it comes up here. And if you look at your Lynx distributor, this bar goes all the way across, all the way over to here. So this is all ground. And this one here looks like to me is already coming from your chassis ground. And it's linking all your other grounds. And then your Lynx distributor one is this one that's right here behind this. So they're already all grounded to your chassis through this wire here. This other wire is an individual one going to the chassis. So by using this one, I know that it's coming to your Lynx distributor, but it's also going to your chassis as well.
Okay.
I need to just look at a couple things because I need to verify what this here does. I see they have the same thing, kind of a little loopy loop, and I just need to make sure that stays the same.
On what?
So if you look on your old one here, they have this little loop.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'm going to look at the manual. I see they have the same thing on this one. It says remote. So I think that's supposed to be like that, but I just want to verify that that's how that is. But what we'll do is before we do anything more, I'll verify that, and then I'll have you start the engine, and we'll make sure that we're actually getting 50 amps of charge.
Okay.
Can you start the van?
Yeah. Let me get that turned on. It's showing.
So you got, this is your input. This is coming from the battery. So you got 13.1 volts at your battery. 47 amps are coming from the start battery. It's going through the DC to DC, and you got 44.3 amps right now going to your batteries.
That's awesome. Like before it was like 25 maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's usually never, like I know it
Fully.
says 50 amps, but a lot of times it's always just a little bit under. Even with my current Red Arc stuff, it's the same thing. But
it's
you got
almost double what I had before. Yay. So how are you thinking what we're going to do with this last ground wire that's sticking out?
Well, I might just take it and pull it back, put a ring connector on it, and then just hook it here to the earth ground.
Okay. Jason, that looks so good. Did a great job. That was all cleaned up.
So now I just got to go get a socket to pull this off.
Okay, and then you're going to put this guy on. Look at him. He looks so nice. He's going to get hooked up there. Look at that. Project complete.
Okay, so
We've got a working DC to DC 50 amp charger, and now the finishing touch, the link distributor cover going back on. It looks beautiful.
Make sure that's on.
What do you need? Impact driver?
No, I doubled that up and it's having.
Oh, not fitting through the opening well?
Okay, so here's the problem. There's no like little spot in this, and so it's crimping and pushing pressure on that. So what we're going to do, it actually goes this way, so it's this side here, is I'm going to create a spot.
Okay. Something a little extra that has to happen, but thankfully he has the tools in the shop to do it in.
Okay, so make sure that is the side. This is going to be loud.
Okay.
All right, now let's go test fit it. So see, now we've created a little spot for those cables.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like a cool Dremel.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it on.
Yep, I just dremeled that out a little bit, so now there's a nice space. It's no longer crimping those wires.
Okay.
So fits like a glove.
It's like a glove. Hey, good job. Project done. So we jumped in his Ford truck to go grab some groceries, because the first rule of winter storm warning is you need to make sure that you have plenty of food on hand. And so we're gonna stock up on food for us, and he's grabbing some extra food for Ben. And that way, no matter how long the storm lasts with all the snow, we have plenty and won't be, worried about that. Last night we got to come here for dinner to this tavern, so it was really fun just to get everything done with the van and grocery shopping finished, and then enjoy a nice meal together before heading off. That was really sweet. I just met the owner here. He came by and he was like, "Oh my gosh, Beth, I follow your channel and Jason's, and anytime you want to come here and have dinner, like, it's free on me." And I was like, we were just there last night and it was really fun. And so it was super nice to meet him. Thank you so much. If you're ever in Prineville, definitely check out this tavern. It's delicious. I'm gonna go grab my laundry out of the dryer. I just did one last load because everything was a little muddy and snowy from our trip over the weekend with friends. But I stopped at Golden Coffee Company on Main Street. It was really good, and now it's time to go get gas and go find a place to camp for the next few days to weather out this storm that we're supposed to have.
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Good, I'm Officer Blackledge Police Department. So you know our conversation is being recorded. So the reason I stopped you is you had your mobile device in your hand and you were talking on your phone. I don't know how long you've been in Oregon, but Oregon's mobile device law is you cannot have that phone in your hand at all while you're driving. Even if you're not even using it and you're just holding it, it's a violation of our state statute. So just be aware of that while you're in Oregon, but that's the reason for the stop. Do you have your license and your
I do, yes. Sorry about that. I always keep it on here, but I was changing over directions.
Yeah, you just can't physically hold it in your hands while you're driving in the state of Oregon.
No, I totally understand. Let me grab my registration.
You still based out of Reno?
I am, yes. That's my friend. Sorry.
Hey, Ken, I'll be right back.
Okay, thanks. I got pulled over by a police officer, so that's fun. I was on the phone with my doctor and the phone was in my hand, and you're not allowed in Oregon to have the phone in your hand even on speaker, so he just asked for my driver's license and registration, and I really hope I'm not getting a ticket. That's not fun.
Alright, so there's that stuff back there. Just going to give you a warning, but just be aware that you cannot have it in your hand at all.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. Thank you for the
warning.
warning, though.
Drive safe.
All right, you have a good one. I just got pulled over for the first time in 4 years with my van. I haven't even been pulled over by a cop in probably, oh my gosh, since 2013, like in 13 years. So that was not good. It was totally my fault though. Like, I owned it. I didn't act like I wasn't doing anything wrong. I had my phone in my hand because I actually had a doctor appointment, like a virtual appointment, and I couldn't hear her across how loud my van was. I should have pulled over and just been on the phone with her, like sitting in a parking lot, but I didn't because I was just trying to get where I was going because I have an hour drive before the storm hits and I was in a hurry. So he pulled me over and he was very friendly. He gave me a warning. He just said, you know, because my plates are Nevada plates, and he was like, I just want to let you know, here in Oregon, you're not even allowed to have the phone in your hand, like whatsoever, which I knew that. So yes, I was not following the law, and I did deserve a ticket in every way, and I really appreciate that he was very kind and let me off, because with a warning, because A, I haven't had a ticket in a very long time. B, I really don't want my insurance rate to go up because I have a really good rate right now with Progressive. And so anyways, very nice officer. I stayed pulled over and called my doctor back, finished my doctor appointment, and then I started driving again. So I just need to make sure that my phone stays on my magnetic spot, that I always have it, and even if I have an important phone call, I need to take the minute to pull over and make the phone call safely. So thank you, Oregon Highway Patrol, for giving me a warning this time. I do truly appreciate it, and I learned my lesson with that. Well, we made it out of town and back into the National Forest, and I happened to just make it out of town ticket-free, thankfully. So we just checked out this spot, but there's not a lot of trees that are already down for cutting wood for a fire. And we know that there's a spot just a little bit up ahead that might have more options for that. It also means that we're down this muddy little road a little further that's pretty soon going to have several feet of snow on it. But my ProMaster has done it before and it will do it again. Although I will say this storm sounds like it's a lot more snow than anything I've ever been in before. That should work pretty good. Right now it's trying to snow. There's like little hail ice flying through the sky. So I know it's not much longer. I'm really excited. I've been waiting for snow. Jason found a downed tree back by the creek, and so he cut it up with his chainsaw, and we've been hauling it back to camp so we have enough wood to get through the next few days. The last load. So this is an entire tree that you cut down. Well, you didn't cut the tree down. The tree was down.
And it was definitely a broken down tree. And it's not the entire tree. It's actually just the top half. But it feels pretty dry, which is good for being on the ground. But I also feel like it blew down just in the last couple of days. So that's nice and handy.
If you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, click on it now. Click the bell to get notified for every time a video goes live. Right now, my videos are landing on Mondays and Thursdays. I appreciate you guys watching and coming along on our adventures. I'm so thankful that I didn't get a ticket in town earlier. I am so thankful that we found a safe spot to stay for the night and that we are fully prepared. But we're gonna see how much snow, if any, we get. So make sure to catch the next episode because I will share with you if it ends up being a major snowstorm or if it was all for naught. But until the next adventure, I'll see you then. Oh, that's perfect. He looks so good. I love our snowman. He's awesome.
Yeah, he came out a lot better than I was thinking he was going to when we started.